Now we can create doors and windows, and I will go with numpad 1. But before we continue, I will just go here to cavity option, and I will change this from screen to world or both, so we can see these shadows and lines here now. Door width is about 1 meter, so I will go with cube, and this will be just for measure. I will set here 1, and now I will select this object, go to edit mode, edge select, and I will go with Ctrl B to bevel this. And now we can delete this cube. And the next I will go with Ctrl R to add one loop cut here. And with face select, so I will go to reference image, and I want to create this type of door, this bar door. So E to extrude, and now we can go with I to insert. And I will grab this edge here, and I will bring this down. And now E to extrude again, and I again, and E and Y axis for move this on Y axis. And I will just grab these two edge, and I will bring this down. Now to create this board here, I can go with Ctrl R, but I don't want to create loop cut through all this cabin here. I want to create only on this door here, so I will separate this door. So face select, select this door, and P by selection. And now I will go with numpad/key to isolate only this object, and you can see where is our origin, so I will go to object, set origin to geometry, and I will select this with A, and I will extrude this on Y axis. Now I can work only on this door, so I will go with Ctrl R and Ctrl B to bevel this. And to create these two boards here, I will go with numpad 1, and we can go with key for knife. So if you press key, we turn this knife tool, and now I will just cut from here to about here, and now click and press enter, and another cut here, enter, and key to stick to this edge, and enter here, and another here. And we can now select these two face, and we can go with E to extrude and Y for Y axis. And I will extrude this one little more, so E and Y. And I will bevel these edges here to be more visible, so just select all these edges and go with Ctrl B. I will go with only one loop cut, so I don't want too much geometry here, because it's far away from camera and we don't need too much geometry. And now we can with numpad/key back to our scene. we can now create windows, and I will go with numpad 1 to edit mode, and with this edge select we can add one loop cut here, but I have problem, I cannot add the loop cut on this bottom part. Mostly reason for this is because we have double vertices, and I can try merge vertices by distance, so I will go with A to select all and F3 for search, and I will search here merge by distance, and you can see we delete one double vertices, and now I can try with Ctrl R, and we can create loop cut now. But if this don't help you can always go with key for knife and hold Z for Z axis, and you can create this edge manually. But I will delete this now and go with Ctrl R, because this create loop cut in the middle. Now I will select these two edges, and I will go with Ctrl B and make space for my windows to about here, and Ctrl R to add loop cut about here, and we can now start creating windows. This is my reference for window, and I will go again with E for extrude and Y for Y axis and I for insert, E and Y again, insert this again with I, E and Y for Y axis, and one more time. Okay, and now I will press P as same as a door to select this, to separate this object. So P by selection, and now we have only this window here. So object set origin to geometry, and now we can create this part inside. So I will go with to edit mode and add Ctrl R, Ctrl B to bevel this, and I will create one loop cut in the middle and one on both sides. So Ctrl R here, Ctrl R here, and one here. And now I will extrude this part in the middle, EY, and let's insert this again to create more details, and extrude this again a little. Now I will select this 8 faces, and I will go with I. If you press double I, so I, we can insert individual faces, and now I will go with E to extrude, Y for Y axis, repeat this again, I, and insert this and extrude on Y axis. And now I will delete these faces. I think this part here is too big, so we can go to edit mode and X-ray mode, and I can select this part in the middle and SZ and scale on Z axis. And with Ctrl plus I can expand selection, and I can scale this on X axis also. And we can create seams here if we go to edit mode and grab these 4 edges. And now I will go with Ctrl B to bevel this, and if I scroll mouse up, I can add another loop cut here, and with Ctrl minus we can subtract selection. So if we go with Ctrl plus, we expand selection, and Ctrl minus is opposite. And now I have selected only this edge in the middle, and I can press G for grab and Y for Y-axis, and I can now move this on Y-axis. Okay, but this is too big seems, so I will go with Ctrl Z and I will make this smaller. Ctrl minus on numpad, or if this don't work for you, you can just manually select this with holding shift and click. And now G for grab and Y for Y-axis. Let's create this part here quickly. So I will set origin about here, Shift A, cube, and scale this down. And scale this on X-axis also. And scale on Y-axis. And now I will select this part down and I will press I to insert. And extrude this on Z-axis. And now I will select these two edges by holding shift, and if I go with Ctrl B, you can see that I get bevel, but this don't look proportional. That's because we didn't apply scale here. So Ctrl A, apply scale, and now bevel work correctly. Scroll mouse button to add few loop cuts, and let's move this in. And we can grab this first edge, and if you hold Ctrl, Blender will try find the shortest path from first one to last. And now we can click here. So you can see that this is shortest path to this edge. So we go with Ctrl Z, and I will first hold Ctrl and click here, and now we can click here again, so here, and now we select this edge and go with Ctrl B to bevel this. And we can also bevel these edges here, so Ctrl B and add just few loop cuts. Now you can see that this is three different objects, and I want to join all this window into one object. So I can select this one and this, and I will go with Ctrl J and to join this. So now this is one object, and I also want to separate this window frame. So I will go to edit mode, and I will select this part here, these four faces, and if I go with Ctrl numpad plus, I can expand selection. Okay, and now I select all this window frame, and I can press P to separate by selection. And now this is separate object, and I can select this object and this one with holding shift, and I can go with Ctrl J to join this object, and we can see that we now join all these window objects. And I will now go with object, set origin to geometry, and select this cabin and go to edit mode. Delete this, select this face here and press delete this. And I can now duplicate this object with Shift D and hold X to move this on X-axis. Let's now create this little window here. So I will select this object and numpad 1, go to edit mode and edge select, and you can see if we grab this edge and go with Ctrl B, we have little problem here. So I will add another loop cut, one here and on right side also. And we need loop cut on x-axis, so Ctrl R. And if I press now SZ0 to scale this on the axis, we get this problem here. So I will go with Ctrl R. Sometimes it's a little hard to create this on x-axis because we have only this small area here, but you just need to be precise and with Ctrl R and try put your mouse here. And now we create this loop cut, and now I will select only these two faces, these two edges, and I will go with SZ0 to scale only these two edges, and another one here, and we can make space for our window. Now I will repeat process from this window, so select these two faces, E for extrude and Y for Y-axis, I to insert this, again E for extrude, Y for Y-axis, insert again and repeat this process. And let's press P for separate by selection, set origin to geometry, and just add one loop cut in the middle we already have and one here. Select these four faces, I twice to insert this on individual origins, and E for extrude and Y for Y-axis, and delete this face. And we can separate this part here. So if I select these four faces here and go with Ctrl numpad plus, I can expand selection one more time, P selection, and I can now bevel all this. So if I press A to select all, I can also go with Ctrl B to add one loop cut here. To add one bevel here. Okay. And if you want, you can go with Ctrl R here and G, Y to add these seams. I forget to join this window frame and this part here. So let's set origin to geometry and select this part here and Ctrl J. And now we have separate all three windows. But I want to also join this door frame with this door. So I will go to edit mode and select all these faces with holding Ctrl or Shift, and go with Ctrl plus to expand. Selection, P and separate by selection, and let's now select these two objects and Ctrl J to join this object and set origin to geometry. And we can try create these window shutters, and you can see that this is similar like door. So I can try duplicate this door and use this as shutters. So I will go with Shift D and move this on X axis. Then move this on Y axis also and scale this down. And I will try fix this part down, so we can go to edit mode, face select, and we can grab these two face and bring this up. And I want to rotate this window a little, so if we go with rotate Z, we rotate this from the middle of this origin. But if we go to options and set, click here to origins, transform from origin, we can move this origin here. And let's turn off this option now. And now we can, if we press rotate Z, we rotate this from this origin here. And I will rotate this just a little. And let's now duplicate this with Shift D and move this on X axis to about here. And that's it for this part. I think in next part we will create lighting and try first render.